Hello my loves, and welcome to the final episode of Doom Eternal. It's been quite a long road, this one. I started playing this, I played it alongside Pathologic 2, I think, which was a while ago now. I mean, we managed to work our way through Pathologic 2. Doom Eternal's taken that mite bit longer. Because it's a very long game. It's a very, 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 very long game. Much more so than its predecessor, than Doom 2016. And I suppose how you respond to that depends on what you're looking at, you know, what you want from these games. For my money, I think the elegance of Doom 2016, the sort of purity of it, makes it far superior to this game. I think they've done an amazing amount of work with this game. I think they've done an amazing amount of work sort of elaborating on the basis that Doom 2016 provided, both in terms of the back mythology and the gameplay. I do think there's a bit too much in this game, as we've mentioned before. There's maybe one or two mechanics too far. There's one or too many attempts to vary the style of gameplay too far, when really the strength of the previous Doom was its purity. It was the fact that it felt like playing an old-fashioned first-person shooter where everything was just pure carnage, and that was the fun of it. There's a lot of good stuff in this game. There's a lot of good stuff. I love the way they've tied the mechanics like reloading and health to the combat, so that it forces you to be frenetic, it forces you to be on the move all the time. That's really clever. That's a very, very, very cool way of making this probably one of the most serious action titles out there. You can never stop. You can never be still in this game, because if you try, you're gonna die. And this fight with the Icon of Sin is wonderful. As a final encounter, I think this is really good. It's very old school. It's very ironically, it's very like the original, where it's just swarms of enemies. The Icon is obviously a little bit more active than it was in the original Doom 2, where he first came about. In Doom 2, he's literally just a bit of the architecture. There's no way they had the technology back then to animate something as vast as the Icon of Sin. There's no way they could have done it. So he's just a passive bit of architecture. He's literally a texture on a wall. That's all he is in Doom 2. Here he's obviously a whole sprite. He's an active agent, and much more interesting for it. I really like what they've done here. I mean, other than that, he behaves pretty much as the original Icon did, in the sense that he just keeps summoning enemies. He's got his own attacks, obviously, but they're not really that significant, to be honest. The attacks that he provides, they're really more about providing you angles to shoot him from, to be honest. They're not really about damaging you. He doesn't do anything that apocalyptic. It's the enemies he summons that are far more significant. Thank God he doesn't summon any Marauders, otherwise this fight would have been no fun at all. Ironically, they obviously realised that the Marauder doesn't fit with the style of gameplay that this game necessitates. Because here you've got the epitome of it, right? Just hordes and hordes and hordes of all the demons in the game, except the Marauder. Except the Marauder. And the reason for that is he would have broken it. In the same way he breaks almost every sequence he appears in. It wouldn't have worked here. It would have just gotten annoying. As it is, this is quite fun. This is actually a really fun bit of work, you know? I like the final encounter. It's quite dramatic, you know? I like the fact you get right up close to this thing, and it's a very impressive sprite, I've got to say. It's beautifully done. I mean, the hordes you can take down really easily, because there's so many specialist weapon icons around, you know? They're very easy to take down. they're only there to keep things spicy, you know, to keep it going, and also to provide you with the ammunition and the health and the armor that you need. That's what they're there for. This whole shtick about shooting the bits of armor from the icon, that's kind of fun too. It does mean you've got to stop and concentrate a little bit, but it's not that hard. You just use splash weapons, things that have got lots of splash damage, and that works pretty well. That does work pretty well. Obviously things like the BFG, the rocket launcher, the BFG is fantastic here. Well worth saving till later on, till he's got like very little health left. Because you can use it to like rip entire bits of armor from him. The only difficult thing with him is some of the armored segments are below. They dip below the level, so you've got to get right up close and aim down, which actually can be very, very tricky, especially if there are lots of demons behind you. Like this one on his midriff here is actually quite difficult. It's actually quite difficult to get. The ones that are on his hands are quite difficult to get unless he does that attack where he raises them and shoots flame at you. He's nearly done actually. I think that's it. I think that's the... Oh no, not yet. Not yet. Nearly done. But that's the demon inside the icon, basically. Beneath all of the armor and technology that Urdak... Oh, he's off. He's buggering off. He's done. Ah, okay. So he's run away. He's activated a portal and run away. Bit of a coward, eh? Okay. So here we are. Icon of Sin. Shoot and destroy the 8 body parts of the Icon of Sin. Shooting destroyed body parts, blah, 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 blah. So, it's the same as before. It's the same as before, it's just that the Icon is much more active. His attacks are much nastier. He's got some very powerful sort of magical attacks now, and he summons many more demons, and often much deadlier ones as well. Still no Marauder. Still no Marauder. If I expected it to turn up anywhere, it would have been here, but it doesn't, mercifully. It's a bit of a bigger arena, this one, and the pickups are a little bit more sparse. So you've got to be a little bit more careful, not so much, but a little bit. It's fun. It's really fun. I enjoyed this final encounter. It's difficult. It's very difficult. So again, one of the big difficulties is the fact that some of the body parts are difficult to target. It's difficult to tell which parts you've destroyed and which parts you haven't, and you need to totally destroy them. They've got several stages of damage, so you've got to make sure you destroy all of them. Otherwise he's just going to keep coming, and if you keep shooting the wounded body parts, you're not going to get anywhere. So you've got to be quite careful in that regard. It's a fun boss, and I like the fact that they took... I mean, people have wanted a return to the Icon of Sin for the longest time. He was the big boss of the first 2 Doom games. He was the final encounter for the longest time. So yeah, bringing him back makes a lot of sense. It does make a lot of sense. By God, this is tough. But it's tough in a good way. I will say that this encounter is tough in a good way. It's not like some of the Marauder encounters. I know, harping on about it a little bit, but obviously some of the Marauder encounters were much harder than this. They were much harder than this, simply... Look, that's a new attack. Simply because of the nature of the Marauder. And the way he was framed, like the arenas in which he occurred were not that great. They weren't really suited to the style of combat that you need for this guy. But yeah, he's tough. He's definitely tough. But it's good, it's fun. And I love the atmosphere of him, the way he just looms there. That's very cool. That's very cool. He's a bit more mobile this time as well. You see, he keeps moving around to different positions. That makes him a little bit trickier as well. Because some areas, it's easier to hit his fists and his lower regions than others. Sometimes he's sort of shielded by the walls, and you've got to be very careful. Whoa, whoa, that is a nasty attack. He didn't do that one before. It's a bloody nasty attack, that one. Lots of demons. That's all it does, really. It is just the epitome of everything the game has thrown at you beforehand. In many respects, it's a demonstration of the purity of the game, and I like that. I really like that. Again, for my money, just patch the Marauder out, because he's not necessary. He's actually not necessary. There are enough demons that are interesting enough in terms of the way they play, in terms of the way you've got to take them down, but which are far more attuned to the rhythm and the nature of the game. Without him, just leave him as a boss encounter, patch him out of the normal game. I would, if they did that, my appraisal of this game would shoot up. It would actually, if they did that, it would probably be on a par with Doom 2016. If they just took him out of all the normal ways that he occurs in, I'd be dead happy. Dead happy. Oh, he's throwing a temper tantrum. This is another thing he does. He shakes the whole arena. And brings like asteroids, like flaming meteorites raining down on you. It's very tough. What I like is, as you've got to really balance it, you've got to think about it, because as you are attacking him from nearby, the other demons are sort of swarming around you. Oh, that's the asteroid attack. That's so cool. It feels really apocalyptic. It's really good. I like it a lot. Like it a lot. It's kind of a long fight as well, this one. It is kind of a long fight. And I'm actually recording the audio in post, because it's actually really difficult to record audio whilst you're playing it, because it's so quick, it's so frenetic. You haven't got time. And I think this time round I don't do it. This time round I get killed, I think, very close to the end, when he's almost dead. We've only got his fists left. But he does, I think we end up getting mobbed by a ton of demons while we're trying to do it. And he ends up killing us, unfortunately, which is a shame. This is an area like, where he's shielded by the wall, so you've got to be quite careful here. This is quite tricky. But it's a great final arena for the game. It works really, really well. And although I die here, I didn't really get stuck on him. You know, he's fun, he's challenging, but also quite intuitive. He reminds me of the Spider Mastermind from the original game, who it maybe would be nice to see again. If they, I mean, I know there's an add-on for the game, which I've got, but I haven't played it yet, so what that introduces, I don't know. But we will move on to that. We will move on to that. Although, I will say, one of the selling points that they advertised of the add-on is that there are more Marauders in it, which is not the best way to advertise your Doom add-on, to be honest. Take the element that everybody hates and put more of it. Not the best idea. In fact, there are areas in the add-on that apparently have 2 Marauders at once, which is, again, not attractive to me. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. Maybe it gives you the chance to get your own back. I don't know. Oh, he's not happy. Oh, he's not very happy. Whoa, Baron! Baron! Oh, that was close. I think this is where we get mobbed. I know it takes us one more try. I know that for a fact. Pinky! Love Pinky. In fact, the Pinkies are some of my favourites in this game. I like the way they've reimagined the Pinkies. They're just mindless, you know? They're just mindless beasts. I mean, in the original Doom games, the Pinkies were as ubiquitous as the Imps. They were some of the more common enemies. You'd find like whole chambers and levels full of the damn things. Oh, he's off again. He's off again. That is a devastating attack if you get caught in that. Look at that. Amazing. Pinky. Pinky. Many Pinkies. And Kako. Not a good combination for us. All very, very, very powerful enemies indeed, but high damage output. I mean, Kakos have actually got one of the most powerful attacks in the game, which is they bite you in half. And it's an insta-death. They just kill you. God, look at the state of him. He's in a bad way now. He's in a really bad way now. Mind you, we're in a bad way as well. We're getting... Ah! There we go. We got. It's fine. We can easily take down the icon, to be honest. It's not that hard. You just got to avoid, like... The mistake we made there is trying to stay still. We stayed still for far too long there. Which was an error, I will admit. There he is. God, he's so cool. I need me some ammo. I really need me some ammo, actually. It's a shame you can't use your super weapons on him. That would be fun. But you can't, so... You can use the BFG. The BFG is very good against him, actually. Aha! Seeing a lot of that skipping that goes on whenever I try to record Doom Eternal directly from the PS4. Lots of that sort of skipping ahead. I don't know what causes that, because it's only Doom Eternal that does it. I can only assume, as I've said before, that it's because it's moving so fast, and the PS4 is processing so much. It can't really... Oh, I've just got a message, my loves. I've just had Visage installed on my PS4. And Visage... I'll tell you what, you'll see Visage in a little while. You'll see it very soon. Let's concentrate on this for now, because if we talk... Oh no, he ducked out of the way, but we did get him. We did... Oh, actually, we got a really good shot on him there. That took away so much of his health. Right, okay. Ah, look at the state of him. The damage on that model is amazing. I love me some big monsters. I love me some big demons, and this guy is the biggest. He's fantastic. Absolutely love him. Bloody hell. Ugh. Violent death there. I mean, I don't know how even, like, you know the people who usually get het up about violence in video games? This is the kind of thing where I imagine it would get them frothing at the bit, and yet I can't... For me, I just can't understand why. Anyone with any semblance of reason can see that it's comic book. It's ridiculous. The violence, the gore... It's absurd. It's like, it's the same style of stuff you get in the Evil Dead films. It's so over the top. It's so ridiculous. It's designed for you to sort of revel in how over the top it is, you know? It's like a big old ridiculous comic book. It's not any commentary on violence or anything like that. It's not like saying one thing or another about violence. It's not, it doesn't have any commentary to make. In fact, the only commentary Doom sort of makes, and even that's very, very superficial, is a commentary on the nature of corporatism, which is an entirely positive one, you know. It casts the UAC as a truly awful, apocalyptic corporation that doesn't give two shits about anything but its own dominion, you know. Even to the point whereby it's prepared to bring literal hell down onto the earth and onto humanity. That's the commentary. That's it, you know. I suppose there is a kind of anti-religious commentary as well, because of course the big bad guy, the Icon of Sin isn't the big bad guy. The Icon of Sin just happens to be there. The big bad guy was the Khan Maker, God, essentially. And we killed God, you know, we punched her in the stomach and killed her. She just let it loose. This thing is just doing what it does. This is its nature, you know. It's essentially the Antichrist. It's just doing what it's supposed to do, what's in its nature. The Khan Maker was evil. The Khan Maker was a monster, you know. The matriarch of a corrupt and sadistic system that relied on suffering. It's an entire multiversal metaphysics that relies on suffering. And it was God that allowed it. So I suppose there is a kind of religious commentary there. One that I imagine, you know, were they to even know about it, certain parties wouldn't like. But even then, the game isn't, it's not like Pathologic. You know, it's not like Pathologic, which is just profundity all the way through, which is sincerely trying to say something. this is fun. This game is just silly, you know. It's just insanity. It is raw, crazy, batshit insanity. That's it. That's all it's there for. It's fun, you know. Whoa, bloody hell! What I'm trying to do here is get the lower bits first, because the lower bits are annoying. They are annoying. They're very difficult to actually get, you know, to actually get a bead on. And I find that you die more often trying to get to them than anything else, because your attention is diverted away from all the other demons, you see. Yeah, it gets crazy now. It gets crazy now. Now that you are on the edge of killing him, he summons so many of the bigger, nastier demons. Lots of these things as well. What are they called? The knight something? The assassin demons? Lots of them. And they can be real pains in this fight, because they move so quickly and they tend to turn up behind you and just rip you apart. They can actually be more threatening than the bigger demons, like the Hell Knights. Ew. Ew, look at that jellied flesh. Not nice. Not nice. He's nearly done. We haven't got really that long to go. Most of his body parts are destroyed. It's just a few to go. The shoulders are really meaty. They take a long time to kill. God, I love the look of him in this state, where he's all ripped apart. It's incredible. Absolutely incredible. But yeah, the Khan Maker done fucked up. Just by keeping that thing around, keeping it alive, let alone letting it loose. It was mad. It was madness to try and let that thing loose. Because it is like pure anarchy. You know, it's like the embodiment of utter chaos, which is kind of fun. And the fact that it basically has a human heart, you know, it's got a human soul inside of it, that's kind of cool too. Okay, right, what are we going to do here? Let's get rid of these things for a start. Yeah, there we go. Right, we're not far off, we're not far off. If we could get another BFG shot in, he'd be down. He'd be pretty much down. I do find the chain gun is basically ubiquitous at this point. It's amazing. Anything that's rapid fire and does a lot of damage, that's what you want. Only one body part to go, I think. One or two? Yeah, two. He's nearly done. He's very close. Nearly down. It's a long fight. It's a long fight, but actually I don't mind it. It's fun. I don't mind how long it is. It's not overly gimmicky, really. It's largely, it uses the mechanics and the techniques that you've used up to this point. And the pace never slows. The pace never slows. If the Marauder were in here, it would. It would slow dramatically, actually. Gross. Yeah. Oh, wow. He's nearly done. There's not much left of him now. Oh, he's down. He's down. Look at him. Amazing. Ah. Oh, what are you gonna do? Oh, the exposed brain. That's what he looked like in the original Doom, actually. Oh, that's interesting. That is interesting. There's like a... There's obviously some sort of like time travel or time dilation element in the mythos, given that this is how we found the Icon of Sin, with the blade embedded in its brain, yeah? And also the fact that that the computer becomes the maker, you know? I like that. That's really cool. Okay. There we go. Classic Doom tune. Brilliant. Wow.
And you wreath their sword.
Hmm.
You remain all might.
Oh, interesting. King Novik was that. Okay. And that's the end. That is actually the end of Doom Eternal. I would have thought there would be more from Hayden. I thought Optimus would have spoken to us a little bit more. I like this. The credits are really down. The credits are really like traditional. They feel like the credits from a really old school first person shooter. If you ever got a first person shooter game in like the late 1990s or the early 2000s for the PC, this is often how they did their credits, with pictures of the staff, the production team, and then just some artwork, you know? And there was nothing else. It's kind of fun. I like that. It's minimalist, and that's something that I do believe the minimalism is something that suits Doom down to the ground. It's that kind of game, you know? It's that kind of franchise. I like the minimalism. The main game, it could have done with being condensed. It could have done with being a little less long, because it did get to a point where I was kind of bored of it. It doesn't have the shtick to be a prolonged game. It's not like, say, like the Fallout games, or like even like, say, Pathologic, which had so much going on that it could sustain that length of time. It could have done with just a few chapters less to condense it down. Doom 2016 was perfect. That was as long as it needed to be. That said, what they've done and what there is very, very good for the most part. I think the mythology was great. I think the mythology didn't even need to exist. It didn't even need to be there. It's not an RPG. It's not that kind of game. But they put a lot of effort into it, I felt, and I loved the delineation and distinctions between the Urdak and the Earthscapes and the Hellscapes. I thought all that was brilliant. The aesthetic differences between the environments are wonderful. The little bits of implied environmental storytelling, where you've got a notion of a heavenly realm, but it's technological. That's very cool. Loved that. All the stuff relating to the higher mythology, the wider mythology, the Khan Maker as God, the Dark One, whatever the hell that is, which we still haven't got to see yet. Even though we do hear him speak in this game, still haven't got to see what the Lucifer of this mythology looks like. Yeah, I liked all that. I thought all that was great. And also mythologizing the Doom guy was very clever as well. I liked that too. Giving some reason for why he is the way he is kind of fun. Didn't need to do it, really, because part of the fun is that you don't know. It's that he's just like a faceless avatar, you know? But just giving him a little bit of backstory was fun. I liked that. I liked that very much. Would have liked a bit more of Samuel Hayden. An encounter with him or something would have been great. Maybe he turns up in the add-on. Maybe there's more of him in the add-on, and we will play the add-on, by the way. We will have a go at it. A bit more towards the end. You know, the ending was very truncated, which again is kind of probably a reference to the original Doom games, because of course you have to bear in mind the original Doom games were made at a time when games like this didn't really even have endings, because there was just no space for them. There was no way of animating them. There was no space for them. So the endings of the original Doom games are just text, by and large, and still images. I loved the little homages and references to the original Doom game. That was fun. That was kind of fun. Beyond that, it's very decent. I had a lot of fun with it. There's a couple of instances that I ran into that I actually didn't like. The Marauder, when he first turns up in the boss encounter, is fine. I didn't like most of the times after that when he turned up, because he just doesn't work. In fact, there's that one that occurs in Urdak, and because of the nature of the arena, I almost gave up. I almost said, nah, I'm not going to do the rest of this. because it was such an evil pain to get past. It took me so many tries to get past that Marauder, and it was only the Marauder. It wasn't anything else. It was just the bloody Marauder. Beyond that, it's fun. It's good. It's very frenetic. It's very fast-paced, very colourful for a game of its type. There was a tendency, certainly in the wake of Doom 3, for first-person shooters to be very dour and very sort of monotone. This is not that. This is actually really, really colourful. And I've got to applaud that. I've got to applaud that. I think it's very clever. I think it's very clever indeed. So yeah, a very decent piece of work, this one. Is it to the same standard as Doom 2016? No. I think it misses the elegance. I think it misses the sort of the concision of that game, which made it such a joy. I think maybe they've ladled on a bit too much with it. It's like just that inch too far, you know, just that one step too far. Beyond that, it's very, very good. I'll come back to it a little later. I need a break now, and I'll probably play Visage in its absence. And also, you know what else I've got to do? Resident Evil 3. I've still got Resi 3 here on my desk. Gotta do that. Got to do Resident Evil 3. And of course, when I finally manage to procure a PlayStation 5, I'll be doing Demon's Souls, obviously. Got to do that. But apart from that, I'll leave you with the credits and the ending there is a sort of post-credit sequence that's kind of funny. So I'll leave you with that, my loves. Until next time, bye-bye!
Yeah.